we got a bunch of stuff to talk about and to do today, guys, with this tank. Experiencing a few little issues. We're going to talk about all that, but I think we should start off here with feeding some of the angelfish. That wasn't exactly as long of a montage as I wanted, guys, but they do eventually get over the impulse for food once they do notice that I am here. So there's quite a bit left over. What happens is they just pile on that as soon as I back off the tank. So no need to go in and vacuum it out. Unclaimed waste, not a big deal. They'll eat it all up. So I just got our pump turned back on, guys. It turned itself off because it got clogged up with all this hair grass, and the hair grass is up here. It's because these guys like to pull it up at nighttime. I would come out here in the morning and I would see that there would be just a couple floaters up here, and then I'd scoop them out or replant them, and then the next morning I'd see more, and then it was just like a never-ending cycle. And then that led to the pump shutting off, and that's why we have this film up here. And these guys, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough thing to do. I think we're going to have to just go with no hair grass down here, or maybe swap it out for something else. They seem to only mess with that hair grass that hadn't rooted. They're not pulling out the sage or anything like that, but that's the only explanation. I haven't seen them do it, but it has to be them, right? So basically, we just have to do a fairly substantial water change to the tank today. You can see, well, maybe you can see this is a little bit more cloudy. It's because I went in here off camera and I kind of rubbed some of the diatomaceous algae off of the Java fern leaves. Is something that happens pretty frequently. We get a little bit of brown stuff on there, and it's just because it's a super slow growing plant and it's prone to that sort of a thing. So until it gets really established and happy and growing, we're probably going to have to deal with that, and it just takes a little bit of time to get that off of there. We don't want it to overtake and then promote any other kind of secondary algae coming in. That can happen. We don't want that to happen, and so we just have to keep up on our maintenance here and keep the angelfish happy. So we're just going to drain fill this for about 20 minutes, guys. I can't remember exactly what the rate was, but I remember 20 minutes was something close to like a 25% water change. And I think if we do that, we're not going to be shocking the temperature all too much with the cold water coming in on the hose. We have a temperature readout here of, oops, sorry about that, of about 77 at this point. I have been doing this for a little bit, so we try and keep the tank at about 78, and we control this whole thing with the Loop app that's plugged into our pump. So we have our pump over here pushing water, and it also has that thermometer, and that is pretty much how I run this tank. Unfortunately, the lights aren't integrated into that system, although I think that possibility is going to be coming out eventually for current. So that would be really cool. I would be super down with that instead of having to, you know, use the remote and do everything, but it ends up being not really an issue at all. And also, happy holidays, guys. I hope you're able to do something with somebody and you have a halfway decent time. Let's get through this year. Let's push into the next year. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm pretty sure I ended 2019 and started 2020 with a video that said, hey, 2020 is going to be an awesome year. I know it wasn't the best year for everybody, including myself, but let's just cross our fingers, put positive vibes out there, and do our absolute best. Post water change ritual number 1, hit it with a little bit of glass cleaner. Thank you, Fritz. And then since most people don't have newspaper anymore, including myself, you got to use the microfiber cloth, right? You don't want to scratch your big beautiful tank. And as I do this, I got kind of an idea, guys. Would you be interested in microfiber cloths with some of the designs of the stickers and the magnets on them? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I think it might be kind of cool, but I really don't know how many people use a microfiber cloth to clean their tank. And we missed a floater, so let's grab that dude out of there. He looks pretty dead anyways. And then get water on the front of the tank I just cleaned, of course. But there it is, guys. It looks a heck of a lot better. We have way less cloudiness. It actually looks pretty clear right now, which is a nice change, and I think the film for the most part is gone. There's still a little bit of debris up there, but I think that's probably always going to be the case. Really, the big question with this tank was how the cork bark was going to do long term, and it's only been like a month since we set this tank up, and so it's really hard to say. So far, everything is doing really good. None of them have broken up, came loose, anything like that. I have bumped into a couple of them when I'm scraping the back panel of glass to get some of that brown stuff off there, but I mean, so far we haven't run into any big issues, and that makes me really happy. I was really nervous about that. I can't believe I'm going to show you this tank, but just pretend like it doesn't have any of this crazy weird slime hair algae in it. Let this one go. We need to do a lot of work on it, but this tank that we set up multiple months ago with the cork bark in there, I swear they're in there. I'm sure some of you guys remember this. It's been just fine, other than the fact that, you know, we got infected with this crazy algae that I promise I will pull out as soon as I put the camera down and this video is out. But the more and more I look back at that tank and look back at this one, I think, hey, you know, everything's going to be cool with the cork bark. As long as I don't get crazy and just totally knock one out, elbow it across the tank, I think everything's going to be good. So I guess the whole point of me talking about that right now is just, if you want to go with cork bark, go ahead and go for it. I don't think you're going to have any problems. The angelfish have been in here for multiple weeks now, and they're doing just fine. There's no issue with, you know, contamination of the environment or anything. There's no big tannin leach from the cork bark, and I think it looks pretty cool. If you can get creative with the styling, maybe there's some cooler stuff that you could do with this besides just putting Java Fern in it. And to talk more about the Java Fern in this tank, you know, we haven't really started to see any new growth out of these plants. Java Fern takes a while. The tank that we initially did the trial run on, it took a long time, probably more than a month, maybe even more than 2 months to really start to see those plants get growing and being happy. In a lot of ways, we really were winging it with this tank. We had our little experiment, smaller version of it, seemed to be good, but doing something like this on a scale like this, we were very much winging it. And so I'm just glad that nothing disastrous has happened, and I hope this is a good example of, you know, just showing off what you can do with aquariums. You don't have to stick in the cookie cutter planted aquarium world that you might see all the time on social media and stuff like that. You can get creative and take little risks that really don't have too much of a downside to get something that you really want to have. So I guess that's the message here, guys, and something that I try and promote on the channel whenever I can, is that, you know, be as creative as you want to be. Do some research, make sure that you're not putting anything too crazy in a tank and there's not going to be any issues, but then just go for it and have fun with it. That's what this is all about. This is what, you know, I've made my life about doing, is having fun and doing, you know, creative new things with aquariums that I haven't seen all the time, and I try and do that as much as possible. I'm going to end it really quick here, guys. I know you got a busy day and you got stuff to do. Thank you for taking the time to hang out here with me today. But I did want to just kind of show off this tank. I'm about to shoot another video that'll hopefully come out like on Saturday or something like that. This tank is absolutely in the Goldilocks zone. It is the calm before the storm, though. So I'll talk more about that in the next video, but just take a look at this tank, how clear the water is, how good everything looks in it right now. We're going to try and keep it this way, but if you know anything about planetics, you know that it doesn't always go that way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're doing all YouTube stuff. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.